I'm Dinesh Berderam, and I'll be presenting today a case study on Janelle Perez, a student in my biology class at Keysgate Charter High School, as a part of the Teach Now program. Keysgate Charter High School is a public charter school in Miami, Florida. It's a part of Miami-Dade County. However, it is a charter school and it does not receive the same funding as compared to a public school. It has a student population of about 731 students. There's also a teacher ratio of about 21 to 1. The demographics are mostly Hispanic, with 80% Hispanic and 14% African American, 5% white, and 1% Asian or multiracial. The socioeconomic conditions consist of about 63% of students are eligible for free or reduced lunch, and this school is dependent on test scores to receive state funding. For example, students have to do well on the algebra or biology end of course exams in order for the school to receive funding for the subsequent years. So we're going to go into Janelle's profile and her background. So Janelle is a 10th grader who I have for my biology honors course, and she hopes to become a pharmacist. She struggles with being an independent learner and has low self-esteem with her academic abilities. Many times she is very reliant on asking the teacher for assistance rather than trying to do her work on her own, and if she does try to do something on her own, she becomes very worried and very anxious. She comes from a single parent household with a single mother and also has an older sister who typically helps Janelle with her academic work. Her sister constantly tells her about being older in the sense that she learns more about college and having a job, doing internships in the career that she wants, etc. Janelle is currently in the ESOL program. She's on the level 2 out of the 5 levels. She is a Spanish speaker and she is also a student with an IEP and has past accommodations. Socially speaking, she has difficulty with making friends. She doesn't like to talk to students, typically unless it is classwork related. She likes to usually stay by herself um, most of the time. She sometimes attends clubs after school, but does not like to participate in them that much. For example, she's a part of the Nights Around the World and Key Club, two service clubs on our campus. She constantly talks about wanting to have a job in the medical field so she can gain good experience to become a pharmacist. So currently, Janelle has a C minus average in biology. In quarter one, she had a C minus. In quarter two, she had a C. Quarter three, she currently has an F, but that is due to missing some assignments and some test grids that are being processed. So at our school, we have the NWEA as our main diagnostic that we give for students in biology. And when she first took the NWEA at the beginning of the school year, she received a score of a 190, while the passing score was a 232. And she took the NWEA again in December, and she received a score of a 188, and the passing score needed was a 234. Janelle sometimes shuts down during unit testing because of being nervous. When she doesn't know something, she gets very animated, she starts shaking, she starts asking a lot of questions, and she does not know how to deal with the pressure. She often asks things like, oh, can I use the restroom? Can I go get water while testing? and constantly wants to get up out of her seat. She has a test average of about 65. This is based on each of the quarter tests that are given throughout each quarter. And Janelle in the class in a normal lesson for a normal day, she doesn't like to do group work. If you do have her in groups, she constantly asks the teacher for reassurance on what she's doing. She doesn't always trust what students are saying when students are working with her. And sometimes, if she is working with someone and doesn't know what an answer is, she'll raise her hand for the teacher's attention or walk up to the teacher asking them to explain more information. Classroom accommodations and supports that she currently has. So currently she is in the ESOL program and she has class every day with a separate ESOL teacher. She has IEP accommodations that were last updated in February 2022. I, as a teacher, have sent home emails, left voicemails and messages. The mother usually responds, just saying for her to attend the help sessions that I host twice a week after school. And Janelle, I've tried pairing her with a student, typically one that speaks Spanish, and I've asked this other student, to give her a hand and explain some things to her or try to keep her calm, but this still does not really help. She still constantly asks me, the teacher, for guidance on what to do. And she rarely attends after school tutoring, only about once every 2 weeks. She'll come to a session with me. Some of her accommodations are listed below. It consists of preferred seating, where she can sit where she would like to in the classroom to make her feel more comfortable. Also, extended time with assignments and due dates to reduce some of her stress and hopefully have her do better. Chunky instructions. So sometimes after giving an assignment, I'd have to go up to her and ask her if she understood the instructions and also break them down for her so she can better understand what to do. And there are many times where I have to give her verbal encouragement, you're doing a great job, or, not quite, this isn't quite correct, but you can do better, you still have time, etc. So here are two examples of her work. Before we do that, I'll just talk. Generally speaking, she has a mixed understanding when instructions are clear and she needs visual or step-by-step cues. Her peers typically finish their assignments with more independence and less questions compared to her, and she has some grammatical errors linked to ESOL that do confuse her while she's learning. So here are the two examples I referred to earlier. So she does mix up some vocabulary terms with the concept map assignment that I make them do. With this assignment, she was trying to answer or trying to copy what was discussed on the board, and she was mixing up a lot of the words. Also, we have a lesson review, which are questions that review the sections, and she did not finish this assignment because she was very stressed out without knowing the answers and felt worried that she wouldn't have enough time to finish the work. So I did go to her and I showed her the section in the textbook and told her to do some problems, but still she kept looking at the book and then looking up and um, was struggling mightily with trying to answer these questions. So, in summary, I'm concerned that she would not pass the end of course exam because of her low performance on the NWEA scores and also her grades. As I spoke about earlier, she shuts down during testing and avoids group work and has some triggers that lead to her anxiety. She does have a ESOL class that she attends some IEP accommodations, the pairing system, and some tutoring that she does with me after school. And to me, she has minimal improvement because of inconsistent participation and being very dependent on me as a teacher. And her mother is not as involved with um, her education, in my opinion, other than telling her to attend tutoring sessions. And her sister does help her out with a lot of her work. So, what are some recommendations that you might have for Janelle to have her work independently and also to work in small groups with her classmates? Also, what are some strategies I can use with her ESOL instructor and the IEP department to guarantee that she ends up doing well in her classes? Thank you.